Jill back with another episode of Cooking with a Side of Murder. I know it's been a minute. I've just been busy. My job was chaotic. That's changed where I'm working a standard schedule and not like crazy long hours anymore. So I get to focus more on my side projects. So I've had a lot of time to work on this and my blog and things like that. So expect a lot more content coming. Currently I've got this episode, which I've had written for like 2 months. I've just been exhausted and not had time to do it. And then I've also got another one and then a third one that I've almost got researched, but I just ordered some books on. So, but if you have any recommendations, I'll take those. So, today we're going to be talking about the case of murder of Chandra Levy. This gorgeous girl, who you've probably heard of. It was a big deal back in the early 2000s. And I'm going to be making chicken lo mein. I've already got my water boiling for the noodles, and I cut up chicken. This is actually my third take doing this because I've stopped and restarted it because my brain's broke today. Not really broke. I got back on my ADHD medication, so I'm more focused, so I'm a little more OCD. So, that's just who I am this week, and that's okay. So, I've already got my chicken cut up. I'm going to pull that up here. I'm going to put it in this pan. I've got some olive oil. I asked my ex to get olive oil from the store because I had ran out of it, and this is what they brought me. They brought me a whole thing of these. They were on sale, so I guess I can't be too mad, can I? So I'm going to put these in there. I'm also going to cut up some, I only use 3 chicken tenders because I'm going to go crazy with it. I'm also going to cut up some mushrooms and some broccoli. So, this olive oil is actually kind of, watch this thing, it's actually not a bad time if you need, olive oil or something. I did buy a new bottle though, because what the hell. Okay, so, first off, let's talk a little background on Miss Chandra Levy. So, she was born to parents, Robert and Susan Levy. They were originally from Ohio and moved to California where she attended high school. Chandra got her journalism degree, I can't talk today, I'm almost mouth. Journalism degree from San Francisco State. And during her time in college, she interned for the California Bureau of Secondary Education and worked in the office of the Los Angeles Mayor, Richard Rotterdam. We're going to go with that. After that, she attended the University of California to earn a master's degree in public administration before moving to D.C. for part of her final semester to become a paid intern for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. So that's a lot of background. If you're wondering, why does this sound familiar? There was a e-show back in the day that used to run all the time. It was the 20 Most Shocking Unsolved Crimes. And her case is on it. I think I've seen that one 15,000 times. It's so good. I wish they would replay it some more. But this is probably where you've heard that case from. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. But like I said, my brain's a little broke today. And that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. So in October 2000, she began an internship at the Bureau headquarters where she was assigned to the Public Affairs Division. Dan Dunn, who was her supervisor, was impressed with her, especially the way she handled media inquiries regarding Timothy McVeigh. If you don't know who Timothy McVeigh is, it might be in a later episode, who knows. In April of 2001, her internship was abruptly terminated because of her academics had expired in December of 2000, and she was scheduled to turn back to California in May, since she had already completed her master's requirements, and she was 24 at this time. So, at the age of 24, this girl was impressive. Had done so much, worked with some high-name things, being part of the division that handles media requests regarding the Oklahoma City bombing. I wasn't doing fun stuff like that at 24. I think that's impressive for 24. Very ambitious 24-year-old. I've got broccoli. I'm going to toss some broccoli in here. My broccoli's kind of soft because it was just in the refrigerator. It wasn't really like in a container like it should have been. which is fine. So it's, and I think that works for chicken lo mein, is that it's a little soggy. It's going to be anyway. You don't want crispy broccoli and chicken lo mein. So now I've got some mushrooms. I'm going to chop these bad boys up. So she's already impressive at the age of 24, doing most of us do. Most of us under ambitious, more than most 24-year-olds, at least from where I'm from. Like, if you can make it out of your hometown, you're doing good. I have not yet, so we're working on it. It's fun. So, already impressive girl. And she was living in Washington, D.C. at the time. So, let's chop up these mushrooms. I don't have any carrots. I wish I had carrots. Because I've made this a couple times, just trying to perfect the recipe. If you follow my Instagram, then you've probably seen I'm always posting updates on there of what's going on, what I'm working on, if I'm researching cases, you know, things like that. So we're just going to get a nice little chippy chop on there. I've already got the olive oil in there. We're going to add some minced garlic. Just a little bit of that in there. So, ooh, it is cooking. I'm going to use this thingy. I bought little spatulas at the Dollar Tree because I've been looking at spatulas and was like, you know what? These are cute. So let's pay $1 for them and buy those. Because, I mean, why spend a whole bunch of money? I am going to put a little soy sauce in here. Just a little. Because I'm also going to be putting some in the sauce, but I want to give it just the kind of the all-around same flavor. Do I don't have any teriyaki. I don't have teriyaki. I do not. And that's fine. It's okay. It's fine. I do have my water boiling. So I need to put my spaghetti noodles in a minute. So, but let's talk some more about Chandra. So, since we've discussed her background, well, we're going to talk about the timeline of events. So, a new thing that I'm doing with these posts is, the way it works in my mind, is to make a timeline of events. I think I didn't really do it in the Elijah one. I think I did it in the Brianna one, in Brianna Taylor's, not Elijah McLean's. I did it in this one, and I did it in the one coming after this one. So, May 1st was the last day that she was seen. Anyone can verify. May 6th, and this is in 2001, keep that in mind. May 6th, her parents called the D.C. police because they haven't heard from her in 5 days. And this is a girl who's pretty good about keeping communication. May 7th, her father told the police that she was having an affair with a congressman. Ooh, so if you weren't already aware of where we're going with this, I bet me saying that probably just set off a bunch of alarms in your little murderino mind. May 10th, the police get a warrant to search her apartment, in which they find her purse, which contained credit cards, identification, mobile phone, also a partially packed suitcase, and a full answering machine with 2 messages from said congressman. And I'm not telling you who the congressman is yet, but we're going to get into it in a minute when I go through the suspects. So, at this point, she's missing 9 days. It took them 9 days to get a search warrant, though. I feel like police work faster than that now. Like they can have one in no time. But for her purse and her credit cards and her phone, and I mean, you gotta keep in mind, this is 2001, so I mean, phones aren't like they are now where everyone's attached to their phone. You can't leave the house without your phone. Your phone now has a credit card on it, and you can scan it and all that stuff. I'm making a mess. Whatever. This is cooking. This is amateur cooking for you. So look at this. Look at that. We're gonna get some nice color on that chicken. So for her to have left all that, the packed suitcase doesn't concern me too much because she was rounding up the internship and was scheduled to go back to California. I'm going to put some more water in my pot here. I'm going to use my Buckley cup to do that because I feel like I boiled it all out. And then let's put some, I'm just using Great Value spaghetti. You can use, I've used fettuccine and linguine in my testing of this. So we're going to use this. I've been breaking it up. I know when you cook spaghetti, you're not supposed to break it up. Unless it's like for little kids. Things I've learned from Chopped. And that's okay. Ooh, that's a fun time. But we're making a lo mein, so we're gonna break it up as a personal preference. You can do whatever you want. I have a big spaghetti pot that I could probably use, but you know, who has time for that? So let's get that boiling. Boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. I'm gonna put enough in there. Enough. This smells amazing, by the way. So we're gonna slip it over here. Brown this up some more. So she's left everything. You can't really do anything if you don't have those things. But it was 2001, which was an earlier time pre 9/11 to where you could disappear off the face of this earth without any of that. So, and she was in Washington, D.C., you know. So it's possible that, you know, maybe she had connections. Who knows? It's a possibility. But there were 2 messages from the congressman. So, there's really nothing that happens in this case until July 25th. When they search along the Glover Road in the park, but failed to find any evidence related to Levy. She was known to go jogging in the park, is why they searched the park. August 2nd, an anonymous tip claiming that Chandra Levy's body was buried on the grounds of a military installation near Richmond, Virginia. They checked, wasted money. It was false. They found nothing. And then, so this is in 2001. This is August 2nd of 2001. Nothing happens from August 2nd of 2001 to May 22nd of 2002. Can anyone from our studio audience guess why? Buckley, do you know? That is correct. 9/11 happened. September 11th, 2001. The biggest terrorist attack, I can't talk today, terrorist attack of all time happened. So she's in Washington, D.C. One of the planes did hit the Pentagon. So, of course, it's going to put a damper in the case. She wasn't a concern at the time. And I hate saying that. But when you have a terrorist organization that has killed thousands of people, opposed to one missing girl, they've not even found a body. So almost a year goes by. Or over a year, because it started May 1st was the last time someone had seen her, May 1st, 2001. So May 22nd, 2002, a man walking a dog discovered skeleton remains in the Washington Rock Creek Park. They used dental records to determine it was Chandra's body. So, on May 28th, the medical examiner concluded that her death was a homicide, saying that there was not enough evidence to determine the manner of death. So they can determine that it wasn't natural causes, like she just had a freak heart attack running through the park or anything like that. They did determine that there was some type of foul play, but with it just being skeletal remains, they couldn't really figure out what that was. Because you think a year has passed since someone has seen her. So, of course, there's not going to be much there. When the body is found, the main focus at that time becomes the congressman, who I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But I know what they really found was her skeletal remains and then like her leggings that she would run in and stuff like that. They found basic stuff. They didn't really find anything too crazy. You know, they didn't find a note that says, hey, my name is so-and-so. I killed this girl on da-da-da-da-da. That would be convenient. But that's not how murderers work. I mean, some do. This one did not. So, I'm going to take this chicken off. Look at that. It smells amazing. I wish you could smell this. I need one of those thingies that you put your things. I have one. I think it's behind the thing. I think it's behind the stove. I need to move the stove. I'm more focused now, so I think I might just clean my entire house. Okay, so I'm going to actually start the lo mein sauce. Saucy sauce. So I'm going to do it in this pot. So let me get this started, and then we will go in to talk about the suspects. The usual suspects. So for the sauce, we're going to use 1 tablespoon. I've got these old vintage Tupperware things. I love them. I almost want to get some new ones, but these are actually a good time. So, oh, I didn't get cornstarch. Where's my cornstarch? I didn't get chicken broth or cornstarch. BRB. I should really get a sign for my refrigerator, you know. It just says, cooking with a side of murder. If you see this sign, I've forgotten something. So, we're going to start with a tablespoon, a TSP. It's not a tablespoon, it's a teaspoon. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. A TSP, a teaspoon of sesame oil. I have toasted sesame oil, which is actually a kind of a fun little thing. A fun little oil. It's not too thick, so it's proven to be a pretty good time from my experience with it. So, I'm gonna figure out a better way to do this. It's fun. We're a work in progress. It's progress, not perfection, kids, and that's okay. I'm gonna take a little nibble of this. But pickling that's really good. And all I put on it was olive oil and some minced garlic. Like, I'm a little impressed with how good that just tastes. So we'll put that. And then 3 tablespoons of honey. I have this honey. This is 100 pure raw unfiltered honey. I get it off Amazon, which I've been using Amazon Smiles. Because they donate to a charity, and it makes me feel less bad about ordering stuff from Amazon. Okay, so we've got 3. Let me move this a little. Cack it over just a little. Just a little bit. We got 1, 2. 3. And I just opened this honey. But this honey is the best honey I've found. I know. Almost got honey on my MacBook. Let's not get honey on my MacBook. I don't think it's part of the warranty. Okay. Scrape some of that stuff out of there. Get out. Now a little scraper. Okay. So we've got that. And then, the recipe I use, I found one on Pinterest, and I use the thing for it. I'm gonna wash my hands. You can use sriracha in it, but I have gastritis, so I'm not even trying to do that, because some things, you know, ruin my life. Another little Dollar Tree find, this tiny little, I think it's gonna be great for sauces. Okay, so we want a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Is this a 1/4 cup? These are Chrissy Teigen Cravings measuring cups. I got them from Target, a couple years ago, and I've got like a mix match of 3 sets because every time I got them they came damaged. The local one that's an hour away did not have them, so I had to order them online, and they kept coming damaged. But they're mighty handy if they still have them in stock. I recommend measuring these to the ones with the other things. Okay, so we're going to do And I'm mixing that up. We're going to do 1/3. I had another one. I've not really gotten to use them, so I'm excited. And I have a strong love of Chrissy Teigen. If you don't, I don't want to be your friend. So this is a 1/3 cup. I'm going to put just a little bit more in there, just because I can. Should have put that in first. I'm going to put a little bit extra. A little extra in there, just because I can. Okay, and then we're going to do a tablespoon. 1 TPS. Let's put a little on it. Of cornstarch. Which is a new thing that I've been using. Okay. So we got that going. Our pasta's going. We're making big money moves. I felt like I used salt in this, but I do not. I got salt out. Whatever. We're gonna mix this. I'm gonna move this. Look at this. We're cooking. So this is gonna make a little thing. So where'd my phone go? Back to Miss Levy. Let's talk about the suspects. The suspects. While this cooks up here. So, first one. Gary content. The congressman Chandra was having an affair with. He was 53 at the time of the affair, and she was 23. So keep this in mind. And she had mentioned it to several people that she had a congressman boyfriend, including her parents. Because, you know, that's what good girls do. If you're out in the big city of Washington, D.C., you want to impress your friend, you say, hey, guess what? I'm dating a congressman. I think that's kind of impressive, depending on the congressman. Could be awful. It might be awful. So when they went through her phone bill, they found his office number, which was a fun thing for the early 2000s when you got phone bills with people's numbers on them. You don't get that. You have to request that shit now. He did offer up a DNA sample, but to police. But 3 hours before they got the search warrant, he did toss a watch box from a former aide, and it was just sketchy. And a tip came in about it, so there wasn't really, they were able to recover it. But he played it off as nothing, and for years denied it. He did finally admit it. I think it was to Dr. Phil. There's an interview if you want to watch it. It's pretty cringy. Where he said that he had seen her outside of the office, at a restaurant twice, and she'd come by his condo. Which, again, was no big deal. Several people had come by his condo. I don't give a shit. That's sketchy. You're a congressman, and she's a young woman. He was the main suspect from the beginning because of the status of his affair, which ultimately ended his career. Like, this was the end of his political career. He was the primary suspect for a long time. The second one was, and I'm going to butcher his name, and I'm very sorry. It's Ingmar Guapton. It's Guandique. I don't care how many times I watch videos of somebody saying his name. I'm always going to butcher it, and I'm very sorry about that. Someone educate me, please. He was taken into custody in July for attacking 2 different women in the same park Chandra disappeared. One attack was in early July of 2001, and the other was in mid-May of 2001. So he attacked a woman the same time that she went missing. I'm stirring the pasta. It's almost done. I have to get my thingy. He took and passed an FBI polygraph test in September of that year about Chandra and was dismissed as a suspect. The case against him relied largely on a testimony from his former cellmate, Armando Morales, who states he told him that he saw her with a fanny pack and decided to rob her. So he hid in the bushes and then ran up behind her and grabbed her from behind. He told this to a cellmate. And then dragged her by the neck into the bushes. He also stated at the time he got her into the bushes, she had stopped struggling. He claimed that he is innocent of killing her, but then on November 22nd of 2010, he was convicted of all charges of his crimes and sentenced to 60 years in prison. citing unforeseen developments due to, so the charges were actually dropped in 2006. So this was solved for 10 years, and he was convicted of Chandra's murder. And then, that was in 2010. Then 6 years later, someone who had met Morales, the person who, his cellmate, Babs Proler, stated that, got him on tape admitting that he lied about the jailhouse confession, and he was deported back to El Salvador in 2017 after his sentence was up. So she met him at a hotel. There is a documentary on Hulu. It's a 3-part one about Chandra's case, to which she speaks in. She met him at a hotel. He was charming, all this, and then he just started talking shit about how he just lied about it and got this dude in prison. Like, why you gotta run your mouth, man? Like, why? Like, what's the reason, you piece of shit? He got deported, so it's fine. I feel like I'm not for that in most cases, especially if it's someone seeking asylum. But if you're just gonna be a general piece of shit like that, bye. And then the third suspect I have is John Conyers, who was the longest-serving member of the House of Representatives. He had allegations of sexual misconduct, which led him to stepping down in 2017. One of the accusers stated that when she denied his advances, he brought up Chandra. He stated he had an insider information on the case, but she wasn't sure if it was just a threat or if it was legit. And it's really a strange, fucked up thing. So he had already been accused of taking, advantage of women. Look at this. I can't see it. It's a nice little thick sauce now. So he had already been accused of misconduct with women. So when this one said, you know what, no, we're not doing this. He goes, oh, okay. Well, you'll just end up like Chandra Levy. Making like a casual comment like that. Like, I get that it was most likely probably a threat. But who knows? He could have done something. So that's why I included him on there. Because, fuck that guy. Hey, you can be a suspect. I don't give a shit. Oh my god, Buckley. So let me dump the pasta. Buckley, I have hot water, baby. You can't hang out below my feet. Another Dollar Tree find. This dollar for a Betty Crocker strainer. It worked really well when I was living by myself and was only cooking for one person. So we got our sketty noodles. I'm gonna just put those in there. And we're gonna mix them around. I'm gonna stop using my thingy. Let's turn the rear eye off and let's get that out of there. We don't want to melt that. I'm gonna use this to just kind of mix around my noodles. So those are the 3 suspects. It could have been a third party that no one's, stuff happens. It could have been anything else. So what do I think happened? The case still remains unsolved. There are no more leads. Honestly, if there is if someone did do it, I guess with the amount of shit show that happened with the suspects, with Condon getting off, and with the jailhouse confession being bogus and shit like that, whoever actually did it got away with it. If it wasn't one of those 3 people. So they are lucky. Sir! Rude. But it's always bothered me because she seemed like she had so much potential. And most people do. The same with Breonna Taylor. She had so much freaking potential. So did Elijah McClain. Like, that someone just took her life away. And she was only, I think, 24 at the time. It might have been 23. I could have my time wrong. But this case was also, especially for me as a young girl, watching this, a warning to not trust older men. Because, trust me, I know, I'm a girl. Most people, this works for guys too, you meet someone, they're cool, they're older, they can buy you beer, things like that. you know, you get dumb and you think, oh my God, he's so nice to me, he loves me. No, you're just the flavor of the week, of men that would take advantage of young women. We've all been there. It's, you know, we know things. You know, and honestly, I'm going to say it right now, some girls are dumb. I'm not saying Chandra was dumb. I'm sure she met him, he sweet talked her, she fell in love with him. It happens. I've been there. Zappa, rude. I'm going to lock him up next time. They were quiet. And especially, you know, if you fall in love with someone and they're married. I feel like we've all been there. It happens, honey. It does. It does. It happens to the best of us. And I will tell you right now, they never leave their wife. Never. They never do. Don't let them lie to you. They don't. So yeah, it's better to get out before you get too deep, because you could find someone who's crazy and you may end up dead. So watch yourself. And honestly, the Conyers one, it could have been, maybe she fell for another one. You fell for one congressman. Maybe they think, I'm also a congressman. I bet I could get her to go home with me and crawl in bed. I mean, you're an impressionable young woman, and especially at the age of 23, 24, I feel like I fell in love with every single person I met. Anyone who showed me affection. And I feel like that's kind of how we're raised sometimes. It's like, oh, well, they're nice. They buy me things. They pay my bills. They do this, do this. Oh, no. Stop. Just stop right there. Don't. Walk away. Walk away. So, honestly, I think it could have been another congressman. It could have been someone. They might have paid someone to do it, to get rid of her. I don't know what truck's outside my house, but I wish they'd fuck off. Congress is an elite boys club, and I feel like just as of the past few years, we're finally getting to a point where, with the Me Too movement and shit like that, we're finally getting rid of some of the bad people. Not all of them. There are still some fucked up pieces of shit in Congress. I say that as a tax-paying American. I feel like I can say that. I don't. That's a topic for another time. Maybe a blog post about how much I don't like some of the men, most of the old white men in Congress, because y'all don't know shit. So I mean, it could have been a thing. They could have been like, hey, you know what? She's gonna talk. We should just let's get her out of here. Which may be what happened. It was also, you know, the early 2000s, and I feel like whoever murdered her also lucked out, because 9/11 happened. And I even hate saying that even more, because that sounds so fucked up, but you get what I mean. Look at this. Look at this deliciousness. I'm gonna mix this all together. But it just was an inappropriate time for it all. So I think at this point the only way we're gonna find out who murdered Chandra Levy, what actually happened to her, is it's gonna be like a deathbed confession. Maybe Gary Condon on his deathbed is going to admit, you know what? I slept with her. I killed her. What are they going to do? I mean, you can, in theory, charge someone if they're dead. You can at least put it like on the record, like this person killed so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da. But they don't get any punishment. So it's kind of pointless. But I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find out, hopefully. You can only hope for the best and fear for the worst. I feel like the worst has already happened, so we can only hope for the best. I know Chandra's family still holds out that hope, as they should. It was their daughter. And, you know, it is, I would say, take it as a life lesson. That, especially with any young girl that goes missing, ends up murdered, anything like that, is to make sure you check who you're hanging out with. Who you're involving yourself with, who you're around, who you're surrounding yourself with, if you're out for a jog, things like that. And I think that's one thing with being part of the true crime community, is we're a little bit more aware of things. And I'm not saying Chandra wasn't aware. I'm not. You could be the most aware person ever and still get caught by surprise by something. But that's everything. There will be a blog post on this. I'll include a recipe of this deliciousness. I'm excited to eat it. I'm starving. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to just go scream and be frustrated that we're probably never going to find out who killed this girl, do so. I've done so several times. If you have recommendations for cases you want me to talk about or food you want me to make, let me know. And please stay safe, because the world's a scary place. And I feel like people are getting murdered every single day. And there's got to be a point to stop it. So, stay safe. I love you. I wish you all the best.